Jacob Markstrom. Do I really need to say more? We have a lot to break down. In today's episode of Locked On Devils, they finally snapped their 4-game losing streak. Buckle up, everybody.
You're Locked On Devils, your daily podcast on the New Jersey Devils, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi, this is Bryce Salvador, and you're Locked On Devils with Trey Matthews.
Scores! Oh, Steven stepped up, nailed it. Brodor's got the puck. What a shot. The Devils win the Stanley Cup.
Alrighty now, what is up, New Jersey? Welcome back to the Locked On Devils podcast here at the Locked On Network. I'm your host, college hockey play announcer, Devils Wire Pucks and Pitchforks, and also part-time credential media member, Trey Matthews. The first post-game recap episode of 2025, and the New Jersey Devils snapped their 4-game losing streak at Climate Pledge Arena, coming out victorious against Seattle Kraken by a score of 3-2. So let's get right into it. In the first segment, I will share my biggest takeaways from the game, and then in the second segment, I will name my 3 stars of the game. I think we all know who the first star is going to be, because the person in net, he stole the show. And then in the third and final segment, I will compare the stats and give the Devils a letter grade. All right. Before I share my takeaways, first, some housekeeping. As you guys know, I've told you guys on this show in the past, I love listening to the opposing broadcast sometimes, so that way I can get different information. I can hear it from a different perspective. For this particular game, I listened to the Kraken's broadcast because my mentor, Everett Fitzhugh, he was on the call for TV. John Forsland, he was calling a national game between the Montreal Canadiens and Vancouver Canucks. Take it how you want to take it, but I was just showing some appreciation to one of my good friends and also my mentor, because I'm not in this position without him. And also, happy birthday, Everett Fitzhugh. Love you, man. Thank you for everything you've done. All right, enough of that. Let's get into my main takeaways. Like I said, entering this matchup, the Devils kind of hit a low point in their season, but I'm sure a lot of teams would love to have the Devils' low point because they were entering with a 4-game losing streak. They still hadn't won a game in 2025, but they're still in a prime playoff position, and they have 50-plus points this year. So their worst is still better than most people's best, but to their standards, it's been a rough go at it. And the name of the game entering this matchup for the Devils was to play simple, clear your head a little bit. That's what Sheldon Keefe was lecturing at a recent practice. And to open up this game, the Devils were all systems go because they were thrashing the Kraken in shot attempts. They were applying pressure. And it seemed like that the Devils were the more dominant team. But shout out to Philip Grubauer. He was also strong in between the pipes. So it wasn't just Jacob Markstrom who had a good outing. Philip Grubauer deserves some credit as well. So I think my main takeaway from this game is that it was a great goalie matchup on both ends, but Jacob Markstrom, he made the crucial saves and he came out victorious in this particular battle, but I'll talk more about that in a moment. But getting back to the first period, about 8 minutes have been played and Mercer scored the opening goal. He sure let a shot rip, and it went off the equipment of Grubauer, and Mercer just came full steam ahead, collected the loose change, and he found the back of the net. That's what Dawson Mercer loves to do. That's why we call him Merce Dog, because he's not afraid to crash the net, get those rebounds, and he scored his 10th goal of the season. Like I said, the Devils got off to a really good start in this game, but the first period started to shift into the favor of the Kraken, and it kind of started with a turnover from Dougie Hamilton because it seemed like the Devils couldn't really recover from that. And as a result, the former Devil, now alternate captain for the Kraken, Adam Larson, he scored with about 4 minutes remaining in the period, and he sniped one past Markstrom. I don't even think Markstrom got a piece of it. And that was Larson's second goal of the season. His first goal was on October 15th. So, once again, I know it's been many years since Larson's put on a Devil sweater, but I guess it's a reunion of some sorts for him. But on a more serious note, looking back at that particular play, you saw McCann just hanging out in front of Markstrom. Personally, I think the Devils needed to do a better job of clearing the eyesight of Markstrom a little bit. Like, McCann's obviously in his way and he can't see anything. That's why he didn't really get a good gauge of the puck. And like I said, I don't even think he touched it. And it's a tie game. And after that play occurred, you saw that Markstrom was a little ticked off and he gave a little bump of the stick to McCann. And luckily he didn't get dinged for anything. But Markstrom, not really happy. It's a tie game. And at the conclusion of the first period, the Kraken were leading on the shots on goal category 13-11. And they closed the gap in shot attempts as well. Like I said, good start, not really the best of finishes to the first period. Could have been worse, but it's tied 1 apiece. And then the second period, Paul Cotter, he scored early on, and Mercer got the primary assist. So Mercer now has a multi-point outing. Nothing really eventful happened for most of the second period, but towards the end of it, that's when things got a little interesting. So Jonas Siegenthaler, he was dinged with cross-checking on Jaden Schwartz, and there was a little bit of face washes, little bit of exchange of words. I think somebody blew a kiss to Stefan Nason as a way to taunt him. I forget who in particular, but Brett Pesce and Brandon Montour went toe-to-toe. But here's the thing. Pesce's gloves remained on. He didn't take them off. And Montour just basically tackled him onto the ground. And that kind of irked me a little bit, but I'm just like, okay, it's probably going to be a roughing call. But no, they were given fighting calls. And I'm just like, how is that a fight? Because once again, Pesce's gloves remained on. Usually the rule is if you take off your gloves and then you start like exchanging some blows, that quantifies as a fight. And Brett Pesce was also a little confused by it, and he was not happy. He was barking at the referees, and everyone was just basically confused. I don't know how that qualifies as a fight, but anyway, going into the third period, the Devils were on the PK, and Shane Wright scored his first goal since December 8th. So the Kraken tied the game 2 apiece, but less than a minute later, Andre Palat, he scored the game-winning goal thanks to a great transition from the Devils. Jack Hughes, he was handling the puck, and he fed him in the slot, and that's all the Devils needed. But once again, Jacob Markstrom stole the show. I'm going to talk more about that in the second segment, but I just want to get this off my chest a little bit because Jacob Markstrom, phenomenal in between the pipes, but according to Money Puck, his goal saved above expected number was 0.45, and he had 2.453 expected goals against. This is why I'm not the biggest fan of advanced analytics because no way that's correct. Just no way. Markstrom faced so many high danger chances, and he didn't allow any of them. How is that 0.45 goals saved above expected? I know he let a couple go by him, but still, it's just like I was a little confused by that. Advanced analytics, that cannot be correct. That's courtesy of Money Puck, and I'm calling BS on that. But before we talk more about Jacob Markstrom and his phenomenal outing, let me tell you guys about FanDuel. From big upsets to game-winning drives, the NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. The FanDuel app gives you everything you need for live bets, same-game parlays, and so much more. Visit the website and look at the odds. Just visit FanDuel.com, join today, and get started with $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Please remember to always gamble responsibly. All right. Before I name my 3 stars of the game, first an honorable mention. The one and only honorable mention is going to go to Andre Palat for scoring the game-winning goal in the third period and answering on back rather quickly after Shane Wright scored the power play goal. The reason I'm giving Andre Palat an honorable mention is because a lot of people have been giving him a lot of crap for his play of late because this is a West Coast trip for the Devils. And I will admit, Andre Palat, not really the sharpest, especially in that game against the LA Kings. I thought he could have been a lot better, but the fact that he scored the game-winning goal to close out the West Coast trip, he needed that, and I'm glad he redeemed himself. And once again, the Devils are back in the win column. All right. My third star goes to Paul Cotter. He scored in the second period, and call me crazy, but I don't think his goal was by design. I think it was in an accident of some sorts because it didn't seem like he had full gauge of the puck and he just let one rip weakly, and it somehow, some way, it found the back of the net and Grubauer couldn't save it. I've been rather hard on the Devils' bottom 6, but I think a lot of people have been because the Devils' bottom 6, let's face it, it needs to perform a little better. And Paul Cotter, in his last 5 games, now has 3 goals. And remember, Paul Cotter went a lengthy period of time without recording a point. So the fact that he has 3 goals in his last 5 games, I will take it. My second star goes to Dawson Mercer. Once again, Mercer had a multi-point outing. He scored the opening goal, and he got the primary assist on Paul Cotter's goal. He was all over the rink in this particular matchup. He was impressive. I got to give him credit. He was creating good looks for himself. He was creating good looks for others. And honestly, I thought Mercer was going to score another goal. It seemed like he had it in him. He was a man on a mission. And once again, this goes back to what I've been saying, which is I know I've been rather hard on the bottom 6, but at least Mercer is starting to produce some points a little more consistently. And the same can be said for Paul Cotter. All right. My first star goes to Jacob Markstrom. He was phenomenal in between the pipes. For anybody who said that Jacob Markstrom wasn't going to be this, he wasn't going to be that, it was a mistake to get him, should have went after this goalie or that goalie, I think those people are eating their words because Jacob Markstrom has been incredible, not just for this game, but all season long. Courtesy of the Kraken broadcast, coming into this game, Markstrom had a save percentage of .915, which was 10th best in the NHL, a 1.96 goals against average, third best in the NHL, and plus 12.5 in goals saved, fifth in the NHL. And he improved on those totals after 60 minutes of play. Markstrom was really strong, but let's just talk about his third period because that's what stole the show. That's what stole headlines. As I previously said, Andre Palat scored the game-winning goal early on in the third period. So you have little to no room for an error. And about 4 minutes into the period, Tolvanen tried to go backdoor on Markstrom on a great feed from right. And Markstrom at the last possible second just turned around and robbed Tolvanen. And after the play occurred, Tolvanen was just stunned. He's like, how do you make that save? He was in the right spot at the right time and lickety split last possible second. Markstrom robbed him point blank. And like I said, I was watching the Kraken broadcast, but I saw the clips on social media. Bill Spaulding was going crazy, and rightfully so. That was picturesque, perfect from Markstrom. That's a save of the year candidate. But it didn't stop there. Later on in the period, we're in crunch time, only a few minutes remaining. Matty Beniers was camping out in the slot, and Kakko saw him and fed him the puck. And Beniers, once again, point blank shot on Markstrom. And Markstrom did sort of like a cartwheel and used his stick to knock away the puck. Full desperation mode. Beniers was right there. That should have been a goal. That should have been the equalizer. But Jacob Markstrom just shut the door. He was lights out. And now the Kraken's losing streak has extended to 3 games. And as they were saying on the broadcast, this is a game that they felt as though they should have had, but the difference maker was Jacob Markstrom in between the pipes making those saves. Markstrom saw 23 shots. He made 21 saves. He had a save percentage of .913. Just great work from Jacob Markstrom. But on the other side of that, I also need to give credit to Philip Grubauer. He saw 29 shots and made 26 saves. So Grubauer was also trying to keep his team in the game. Just a great goalie matchup. And it was entertaining to watch. And I know it was a 10 p.m. puck drop, but honestly, as the game progressed, as close as it was, and tensions are high on both respective sides, I really didn't mind. I was thoroughly entertained through and through. And fun fact for you, the Devils are now 20-0-1 when leading after the second period this season. Alexa, play Enter Sandman by Metallica. You New York Yankees fans know what I'm talking about. The Devils continue to finish games strong. So Markstrom has 2 candidates for save of the year. He probably has a few more. I can think back to the first game of the year in Prague when he had an excellent save, and Markstrom is just making case after case after case after case for himself to win save of the year. And now he has 2 more potential candidates for it. I'm running out of adjectives to describe it. And Paul Cotter even said post-game that the Devils do not win this game without Markstrom. So to nobody's surprise, Markstrom is my first star. And Money Puck, please get your analytics together, because there's no way his goals saved above expected was 0.45. Those 2 saves alone were some of the toughest I've seen all season, not just in this game, all season long. All right. I'm going to compare the stats, give the Devils a letter grade momentarily. But before we continue, let me tell you guys about Rocket Money. Did Rocket Money help you find any subscriptions you forgot about or that you were paying for twice? That definitely happened to me. I had a few subscriptions that I didn't even realize I was still paying for, and Rocket Money made it so easy to track them all down. It's like having a personal assistant for your finances. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so that way you can grow your savings. It brings everything together in one place, whether it's subscriptions, your spending habits, or even the goals you want to hit this year. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. I think one of your New Year's resolutions is to save money, so please use Rocket Money. I highly suggest it. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. rocketmoney.com/lockedon. All right, let's compare the stats, give the Devils a letter grade, and get out of here. Shots on goal differential, 29-23 in favor of the Devils. After the Kraken led the shots on goal category in the first period, the Devils really hunkered down. Power plays. Fun fact, Devils weren't given a power play in this game. Kraken were given one thanks to the Jonas Siegenthaler cross-check, and they were 1-for-1 thanks to Shane Wright. Hits 21-12 in favor of the Kraken. Giveaways 19-7 in favor of the Kraken. Takeaways 8-3 in favor of the Kraken. Block shots 14-13 in favor of the Devils. Time spent in the penalty box 7-5 in favor of the Devils. Remember, Montour and Pesce were both given fighting calls despite Pesce keeping his mitts on, but that's an argument for another time. If I had to give the Devils a letter grade, it wasn't their best showing, and they relied on Markstrom a lot. But I will give them a B+. It's their first win of 2025. Markstrom was phenomenal. I was speechless after the game. I was thoroughly entertained. Like I said, not their best showing, but it certainly was far from their worst. So B+ all around. Let me know your thoughts of this game. What did you think of Jacob Markstrom's phenomenal saves in the third period? And what did you think of this game in general, and also the 10 p.m. puck drop? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment down below if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on podcast streaming service, hit me up on my personal X Page app at TreyMatt4 or the show's X Page app at Locked On Devils. As for today's episode, that's all the time I have for you. Continue to stay safe. Have a wonderful day in New Jersey. Go Devils. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Thanks for listening once again. First win of 2025 in the books.